Good evening, good afternoon, you lovely lot. Welcome to, well, Wednesday's edition of Beautiful Beginnings, where here on Crafters TV on a Wednesday, we start to just bring it in a little bit. Maybe you are new to crafting, and we're going to be having a look at what you can be doing on a basic level. Or you may be more experienced, but then sometimes you just forget how simplicity can work really, really well. And it can be really, really effective. Sometimes we just don't have the time to do big, elaborate cards or projects, and it's nice to be able to do a really quick and simple one, but still have that incredible effect, that incredible wow factor from when the recipient receives it. So we've got a number of fabulous products that we've got within the show tonight, many of which would work really, really well with the mixed media shows that we've done throughout the day. This whole week on Crafters TV, it's all about New Year, New Craft. Monday with Sara was all about die cutting. Yesterday with Leanne was all about stamping into a bit of colouring. And then today it is, of course, all about mixed media. So you'll always be able to go back and watch the previous shows all about the mixed media. When you're across on the website, when you go across there to have a look and place your order, have a look across at the actual home screen. You're going to see that bottom left-hand corner, that lovely picture of Debbie Fisher, and it's got that big red star that says 23% off. You've got a selected amount of items up to 23% off. And today, a new one's been added, which is mixed media. So if you go into that one there, you're going to find all of these items here, not just card or paper. You've got folders, you've got stamps, you do have cardstock, you've got your multimedia dies, you've got a plethora of products that you can be getting your hands on with up to 23% off. Why is it 23%? Because it is New Year, New Craft. New Year is 2023. Hence why we've got that 23% off. Have a look on that section there. You can also go into Shop All, so you'll see everything that we've had throughout Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You might have a few things there already that we'll be looking at as the later on in the week. Other thing that you can do as well while you're across on the website is Shop the Day. Shop the Day, you'll see everything that was being used throughout Wake Up Call, as well as, of course, our mixed media show in the middle, of course, within Beautiful Beginnings. And I keep saying we and mixed media and who's been doing it? Well, it is, of course. And I say it is, of course. This is maybe the first show that you're watching of the day. Where have you been? I know some people have to work. If you have done, what I would say is go back afterwards and watch the previous two shows, Wake Up Call and Mixed Media Show, because we have, of course, got Jan in the building today, all day today, here again for Beautiful Beginnings. I am. I'm looking forward to this one. So it's pulling it back a little bit. We've done all the messy stuff earlier in the day, and like Craig says, you can re-watch that back. Did some great techniques with a lot of the colouring mediums that we've sort of had past and present, some of the cosmic shimmer stuff, things like that, as well as some of our own products. So have a look at that if you're just joining us today at 6. But this evening, we're actually going to take it back again to sort of basics. So if you're starting your journey in craft, or if you're wanting to revisit a certain area of craft, things like that, I'm going to bring it back and sort of explain. I always try and explain what I'm doing while I'm working anyway, but yeah, just make sure. And if you've got any questions, please ask them. Don't be afraid. Don't think it's a silly question. Someone else might be sat there thinking exactly the same thing and not dare ask either. And Craig will have a look at those. And if there's anything we can answer while we're live, we can do that for you. But just to give you a little sneaky peek of what we're doing this evening, we've actually got sort of 3 broad spectrums of products. So the first one are those beautiful delicate lace dies, and with these you're going to get the opportunity of working with sort of 3 separate edgeable dies that have been designed to work together. So you can see there we've got the broad edged one, then we've got a slightly sort of less width, and then you've got the little one, and they've all been designed with elements in common to sort of work together. Now there's nothing to stop you just using one of those on the edge of a card. There's nothing to stop you. This one would make a gorgeous, it looks like lace. It does, doesn't it? If you turn it this way, I've got some lace in my drawer that looks just like that. Ooh. So again, it might be a border, or you might extend it and do it all the way across the bottom of a scrapbook page, something like that. But the idea behind them, the concept, which is where we know
excuse me, where we normally start out, is for them to layer like this and work together. But like I said, you know, you might want to use them differently. This one's been done on the edge of a double gatefold just to give that beautiful sort of filigree edging on there. So again, they are just edgeables, so I will talk a little bit more about that when I actually get into demo. And again, that black cardstock with the gilding wax. I just think this has been very, very cleverly done. They've all been cut in to that one piece of card. So you've got the sort of the deeper one twice, and then you've got the narrow one twice, all cut into that front section of the card. Very cleverly done, and then just highlighted with that gorgeous gilding wax again. And again, you know, just using pieces from your stash. I recognise that one as, I think it's Garden Party, that paper, it looks like it. So yeah, whatever you've got in your stash, you can mix and match with. So that's the delicate lace edgeable dies. Then we've got those double panel embossing folders. Now, I think we did sell that original deal out, but I think Craig's got some information. He's got an update on this, which I'll let him talk to you about in a second. Now, if we turn this the right way up, you'll actually be able to read it better. But you've got a double panel of embossing folders. So each set has 2 different folders in it, and they're those lovely thin skinny ones, about 2 inches wide. So again, this is the card that we made first thing this morning that you guys voted card of the show, and all we'd done was use each of the die, and then I just repeated one of them to make it a triptych panel there. So that's one of those. We've also got that beautiful poppy on there again, mixed with papers there that just bring it all together. And again, just those patterns on there. Stunning. All right, so we've got decorative swirls on that one, just done with some inks. Absolutely beautiful. So that's sort of the second band of products. And then I've also brought back today that Say It With Flowers. So this is a Sara signature collection, and we've got you the full collection back, and we've split it. So if you're not wanting to buy all the collection, but you're interested in the paper products, we've actually split it into sections. But just look about making your accordion cards with that gorgeous frame from the collection there. Papers from the collection. You've got an edgeable die in there, just done with that drop shadow behind it, really, really pretty. And then, you know, if you like to make your larger cards, just using elements from that collection, we've got your Z fold card there, and we've even got flower foam in that collection and the dies to make all the flowers and everything with it. So 3 of those are going to be the main focus tonight, and I've got demos across the board with all of those, Craig.
Oh, can't wait for that one. I know you're going to be the same, that's for sure. We've got Rachel on the comments this evening. She's saying that Mary Beth Doyle is in, saying hi again everyone from Minnesota. Well, hello to you. We've got Anne Myers is saying, sitting on the patio with the sun and crafts here in Texas.
That sounds wonderful.
Sounds so good.
I was toying with digging my canoe out to get home later. We've had that much rain here today.
You might be,
I thought I might be paddling home.
Yeah. Send some of that our way.
Oh, that would be lovely, wouldn't it? Sat on the patio in the sunshine.
Crafting away.
There's hope.
A beautiful Texas sky.
Yep.
Yeah, no, we're here in Mutiny Cliff with all that rain and wind. Carnwell Sorrell is saying hello, Craig, Jan, Rachel, and the rest of the CTV TV team, and to everyone else. Once again, we've still got Charlotte, we've got Jamie in the gallery, and we've got Jake just outside there as well. Vicky is in saying good morning from El Cajon, California. Paw Print ×2 saying hello from South Carolina. Jill Craft is saying hi from North Yorkshire. Penny Lowe saying hello from Brighton, Missouri, I think. Rhonda Crowley is saying hello, Craig, Jan, CTV crew, Team Social, and all my crafty friends from all over the world, from a sunny but chilly Chicago area. At least you've got sun. We don't have that. Helen Moore on YouTube is saying, I think this is my first beautiful beginning show I've seen live. Well, welcome. Whether it's the first one you've seen live, whether it's just the first one in general that you've seen live, then it's lovely to have your company as well as everyone else. We've also got Nanny to the Girls on YouTube is saying, hi everyone, going to try and watch a full show, all going well. Love Jan and the mixed media, and always Craig as well. Thank you, that's very, very kind of you. Mary Pat is saying on YouTube, I think mixed media is my absolute favourite. Lenny on Facebook saying, I loved your mixed media shows, Jan. We've got Patty is saying, so happy to have our mixed media queen today.
Oh, thank you.
Lovely comments. Debbie Cantwell on YouTube is saying, the embossing folders make great bookmarks. I use the tag punch for the top to add ribbon and charm.
Excellent
That's
idea.
a good idea.
That is fabulous. Those little skinny ones would be perfect, wouldn't they?
Really good.
Love it.
I like that idea.
Love it, yeah.
And Barbara, just like so many of you, Craig, are you cold? Yes. I am indeed. For some, I was saying, and can I just say, I feel that I am absolutely fine. I just can't get warmed up today.
It's weird, isn't it?
I just can't get warmed up.
It is cold outside, though. That wind's quite harsh, isn't it? Although we've not been outside, but it does affect the temperature inside.
It's cold, Jake, isn't it?
Jake's still got his jacket on.
Still got. Let's see it, Jake. Let's see. Because I think of the Rock, but it's not. It's the Chicago Bulls.
Look at this.
Have a look at that. Look at that.
Excellent.
You smell what Jake is cooking. There we go. So yeah, just feeling a bit chilly, but all is well. Right, let's have a look. As Jan was saying, we did have a floral panel 3D and folder collection, but it sold out. However, what we have done is we managed to bring back another bundle minus one of the sets. So I don't want to tease you, however, the original set had 10 in total, whereas this one, you're not missing out on much, it's just one pack. So this one here is a 9-piece collection. So to marry that up, you are still going to pay it that little bit less as well. So although it's a 9-piece, technically you are going to be getting your 18 folders because there's 2 in each pack, and of course they are 2 completely different designs. So all of that, you're going to be £37.49, or if you are platinum, it's going to come down to $29.60 or $39.20. So that today's price is a 30% saving. It's the best ever price. And already, this went live not that long before we went live, and 30% of that bundle's already gone. So many of you are already loving the folders. Some of you have maybe not seen them before, maybe just the shows that you've watched don't happen to be the shows that some of these have been featured on, but that is your 9-pack, so £37.49. If you are platinum, £29.60 or $39.20. That's giving you your saving of 30% off. But 30% has also gone as well. Best ever price with that bundle there. So it's a really, really good one. So now this is actually, those as well as anything else, you're going to be able to find across on our website, so .co.uk.com or .eu, the best place to go. We're all good for comments at the moment, so where are we going to start, Jan?
Right, I'm going to tell you a secret now.
Okay.
Because Jan's got the wrong set out. Because Jan didn't have her glasses on when she was chatting to Jamie, she looked across there at his fantastic piece of artwork with his display and thought it was the delicate lace panels.
Oh, gosh. Ah.
And we agreed that we'd start with the ones that were out, which Jan thought were the delicate lace panels. So please, can we do these first?
I don't see why not.
Can we do that, producer Jamie? Do you want Craig to review those first? And then we'll go back to the embossing.
Let's do that.
Is that okay?
Of course it can.
Yeah?
Of course we
so
can.
next time, lesson learnt, Jan needs to put her glasses on.
That is not a problem. There we go.
Sorry about that, guys.
Not a problem. Don't worry about that. If anything,
I've got darkness.
hey, it wouldn't
Great
be the first
start.
It wouldn't be the first time that it was me that was in the wrong and started talking about the wrong item first. Been there, done that. But yeah, let's have a wee look. These are the delicate lace edgeables. So this is a 6-piece collection. 6 pieces, however, you've got 3 dies within each one. It's a 35% saving that you're going to get within this collection. £55 or $65. If you are platinum, it's going to come down to £44 or $52. And you're going to get the most beautiful dies within each of the sets. Finished samples that Jan showed you right at the start of the show, it showed you just a small indication in the ways in which they can be used. Now, the 3 of them are designed to complement each other by layering on top. You can use them as standalone if you want to, no problem whatsoever. So within this one here, we've got our, I believe this is a traditional one. You can see here you've got the 3 different ones. So you can see where we've got our larger, or you've got your small, you've got your medium, and then you've got your larger one. So they all work well together. We've then got our, and I'm not sure, I'm going to turn it that way. There we go. So we've got within this one here, modern mosaic with that one there. That one, just in case you want to know, was sensational scallops. You're also then going to be getting your flowers and swirls. You can see here.
Swirls.
Your swirls. You're also then going to be Edwardian chic. You're also going to be getting your elegant opulence, like there. I love that one.
They're beautiful,
absolutely
aren't they?
Love, aren't they gorgeous? They really are stunning. And then you're going to be getting the pretty lace as well. So with the ways that these can be used is if you want to do like wraparounds, layer them on top, so you're larger, you're medium, you're small, all these different ways. You know, I'm not going to go over the ways in which you can use them because now we are going to jump across to Jan and we're going to see how we can be using them.
Now I've just completely reorganised the run of the show, you know. Sorry, guys. As I say, I'm stood here and I'm thinking,
Not a problem.
He's talking about embossing folders and I still can't see what's over there properly from here, honestly. I think I do need to start and wear my goggles when I'm on air, honestly. So yeah, I've taken the modern mosaic here, which again, you can see each set's got 3 separate dies. So you're getting quite a lot of metal for your money with this one. If you buy this as a whole collection, these have been designed to complement each other, but there's no reason why you can't mix and match from the different sets. You might have a favourite out of one set and a favourite out of another. There's no reason why you can't work with those together. So when we take these out, you can see here that we've actually got a really good set of metal. And Jan's been very naughty because last time I used that one, I haven't cleaned it. So I'm just going to have to run my dye brush, which I can't see from here. Oh, it's going to take. Do you know? This is how this show's going to go, isn't it? I can tell. Here we are. Honestly.
Is that actually your set or is that our studio set?
No, it's actually my own, so I can't even blame anyone else, Craig. It's actually my own that I've brought with me. Yes, I can't blame it on anyone else. And you're here, we normally blame you, so I can't blame you while you stood there, can I?
No.
But you can see with the dye brush, that comes out fairly quickly. But yeah, I've obviously used this last time I was here and put it away and not actually... But look, yeah, sorted.
Perfect.
Sorted. So we'll just get rid of all that to one side for a second.
I know you've purposely done that to show how good the dye
just
tool
to
is.
show them how it works, because I want to use this one first. So, taken some of our all-purpose, multi-purpose card, and I've cut it 10 inches by about 6 1/4. So the dies themselves, it says 6.2, which is just under 6 1/4 inches. It would be 6.25. And then they're just under 2 inches for the widest one. Obviously, there's the narrow down. You've got less width on them, but the widest one's just under 2 inches. So what we're going to do with this one is I'm going to turn it so that the fold's across the top, that tent fold, and then we're going to pop this one along the bottom. So I would definitely recommend that you actually pop this in place with a little bit of tape, because when you're doing anything like this as a project, you don't want it to slip. So for those of you that are not familiar with an edgeable and think, what is she talking about? These actually just cut on one side. So you'll see that there are a couple of little notches at the edge of the die. We've got one at each side, and that's where your die cutting edge starts. And in this case, it goes all the way round the bottom of that beautiful sort of lace edge and then stops when it gets to the other side. This side has no cutting edge. So when I pop this on my card here, it's going to cut away the detail at the bottom and reveal that lovely lace edge, but it's going to stay attached to the card. And that's the principle of how an edgeable works. It's designed to work on the edge of a card, whether it be a vertical edge, a horizontal edge, a diagonal edge. It could be out of the, I could turn it around and have it cut out of the top of the card so that when we've got the card done, it pops up at the top.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of different ways to use it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the grid on my mat to line up the card, and I'm also going to use that to sort of look where these lines are, because I want to get it reasonably straight. So she says, let's pop that on there, and then I'm just going to use the line here and the line here, and I'm happy with that. We're actually within the edge of the card, and then I'm going to tape it onto this corner, because this is the bit that we're actually going to cut away.
Right.
So if for any reason the tape does snag your cardstock, it's on a piece that's going to be waste. And then we need the plates for our Gemini, and I've got a nice set of, look at these, my goodness me. Nice set of plates here. So we just want 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't need the metal ones in this instance. They are the right ones, aren't they?
It's good to show how
Yes.
useful your glass mat is as well, not necessarily just for cutting or doing any of your blending or that.
I think, to be honest, we forget about that, Craig, because it's got a lot of your traditional sizes on, starting, from the largest 12 by 12. And then you've got lots of different card sizes, if you want to do a standard size. The other bit, if I just move it this way a little bit, is it's got those angles at the bottom.
Yeah,
so if you're
so
wanting to
handy.
mitre corners and things on it, you've got those angles to make the right shaping on your card. So yeah, I think we do sort of overlook it a little bit because we're so used to using it as a medium for, like say, popping your ink on, or like I was using it earlier. So yeah, it's sort of useful to have. You've got all the inches and everything on it. So all I'm going to do now then is I'm going to pop this along my plate. So I like to cut into the glass plate here, and I nearly always work on an angle where my sort of space will allow. So because I've got more room than the width of the card, I'm just going to turn it at an angle. And the reason I do that is so that when your rollers are coming along, it hits the card at an angle rather than it having to come up onto the die and off the die. And you sometimes get that clunk clunk when it goes through. It's just something I started doing a long while ago, and it's become a habit now. I'm going to pop both shims in, and because we're just cutting through that lovely multi-purpose card, I don't really think this needs the metal shim in. If I was cutting through something like maybe craft card that's a bit more fibrous, it may need the metal shim, but I will always try it without first as a standard pass through the machine if you're using a Gemini. If it hasn't cut to your satisfaction, just pop that metal shim in and run it back through again. But when we look on here, if I take this off the back, you can see perfectly that that's cut through.
Wow,
so what you're looking for is almost as if you've drawn that design in pencil on the back of it. Okay, so we'll take that out, and then we're literally going to take away the tape off the edge. And as I say, I'm not too worried if it snags my card this time, because this is all waste along this edge, as you can see. Get rid of that bit, and then it's two choices here. You can use your die brush again, and this helps release the metalwork from the actual cardstock. So it just gets rid of some of the pieces out of it. And the more pieces you dislodge at the back, the easier it is to come out of your die. But what I tend to do is turn it over, and I like to release my die from the metal. My cardstock from the metal, purely because you've got a lot more control that way. Whereas if I'd have done it this way and pulled the die off here, you could snag your card without even realising and tear some of that beautiful, delicate design. So this is just the way I do it. I'm not saying it's, the right way. And then again, just those little pieces that have decided to stay clinging in, either your die brush, or if there's any stubborn ones, we'll get the pokey tool out, all the way to the middle there. You can see that's cut beautifully with that one pass through the machine. All right, now these dies will work in any machine, so if you don't have a Gemini, don't think just because our dies are branded Gemini that they won't work in all the other machines. They will, same as another person's die. So if you have another manufacturer's die, they will work in our Gemini machines. So you can see there we've got that beautiful edge to start our card. Okay, now what I've done is I've gone and done the second one. So I just wanted to show you that first cut with that one. But on my design, I've done exactly the same thing, but I've used the second one that wasn't quite as deep. And if I bring this in, you can just see here where I've actually got exactly the same idea, but we've used the slightly narrower one, so that it just gives me a bit more space here to work with some extra embellishments at the top, because I want to incorporate this one as well. Okay, so it's up to you whether you start off with that lovely deep lace one, and then all I've done is I've just added a little bit of ink around the edge. So it started out as the white cardstock. You can see it's pure white, and then just look how the ink just changes. I don't know whether we can pick that up. Does that show on the camera? It's just amazing. I just think you know how much I love my inks. just makes such a difference. It's just giving it that little bit of an antique look there, just by adding that bit of ink. So what I've done then is I've chosen some cardstock to work with, and we're going to pop a matte layer inside. So we'll get this bit done first, and then I'll show you the rest of the die cutting. So the papers and the cardstocks that I've used tonight are from that Say It With Flowers collection, because I know we've got a beautiful sort of paper and card element towards that we've put together tonight for you. So yeah, if you haven't got these yet, you can actually purchase them without the rest of the collection if you don't want that. I know some of you like to just collect the paper and the cardstock. So that's going to go inside, and we can now see that that's formed sort of a platform to show this off even better. And then again, I've taken a second piece and just matted it with some of those papers in that paper pad are just absolutely unbelievable. Double-sided papers, which Craig will show you later when we come to that collection. But again, I've just cut that one to fit the gap in the top, all right? So a layer of the brown to match what's inside, and then a layer of the paper. So I'm just going to leave that one there for a second. And then what I've done is I've taken the last of the dies and I've cut one in white, and I've used that same ink. Don't stick it to the thing, Jan. I've used the same ink around the edge there, and we're going to start and build up some layers on here before we stick it all together. Right. And then I've cut one out of that brown as well, which is going to go over the top. So you can see how these complement each other with that lovely scalloped edge. And then we've also echoed it with the little circles that have been cut out of the edge. So you can see how they complement each other. But as I say, there's no reason why you can't actually work with different elements if you so wish. No. So before I stick that together, I've got a little bit of ribbon that I'm going to pop around that that brown one, just there. I don't know where blue came from. And then we're just going to tack that on the back. So I'm going to use a little bit of the tape, and I just want to centre this in the middle of that brown layer and just tack that behind.
It's got a feel when you were lining those die cuts up a moment ago, it's got that sophisticated look of the theatre curtains.
Yes, the drapes, with that scalloped edge. It does, doesn't it? Yeah. So what we're going to do then to pop this together is I'm going to put that matte layer down first. And again, I'm just using my tape pen while we're working with the card to cardstock. I'm just using that tape pen. So again, I've just made this enough so that we've got a little border all the way around there, and pop that one down. And then I'm going to go part of the way up so there's some of that lovely floral paper showing. So again, we can pop a line of tape on the back of that one and just work sort of about, and I'm just going to sort of curl the edges of this one a little bit so it's got a little bit of texture away from the card. And I'm just going to bring it up just a fraction so that we can see that lovely paper underneath. And then we're going to do the same with this one, with a layer of tape.
That I forget, yeah, I do forget sometimes, Jan, that you can still manipulate your die cut pieces. For instance, what you've just done there, I do the same. I don't tend to put my adhesive underneath that detail bit.
Just to give it that little bit of it's just something, I mean, if you're posting it, yes, it might get flattened in the post. But I must admit, I tend to sort of, if I do get round to making cards for people, I often hand deliver them. So, you can sort of make a bouncy envelope, or you can make a box to put them in, and it doesn't do the same sort of flat damage. And then literally all I'm going to do is add a sentiment on there, which again has come from that that collection. So I'm going to put that on a couple of little foam pads.
And it's a good point that Jan was just making there, because it's actually, I don't know about yourself, Jan, it's a question I get asked a lot, is if I'm making a card on a dimensional card, you'll ask me, are you not worried about the postage cost? So when this may sound horrible, but when I'm making a very special card, it's for my very special family and friends. So therefore, I'm either going to hand deliver it, or if I'm making a very special card, usually I'm going to have a gift that I would be posting. So that handmade card would go into the parcel that then I would send. So it's kind of like the one, very rarely would I make a very special dimensional card and just post the card on its own. I either hand deliver it, as Jan was saying, or I would pop it into a parcel with the gift and then send it.
If you're sort of making for that purpose, it's worth thinking about that before you start your project, isn't it?
Definitely.
As to how it's going to be delivered. If it's going to someone, obviously a lot of the cards we make don't actually go anywhere. But if you're making, you know, for a recipient, for a birthday or an anniversary or whatever occasion, it's worth thinking about how you're actually going to deliver it before you start making it. For that reason, isn't it? You might want to keep everything flat if you're putting it in the mail. So I've just raised the sentiment on a couple of foam pads, but you might want to keep that flat. So if I just turn that round now, you can see we've got that lace doing all the work at the front there. We've got those layers. It just looks like, I can see what you mean now about the this top one particularly. Looks like the curtains, doesn't it? Yeah. And that gorgeous scalloped edge is just sort of echoing, as I say, with the little punched out dots, the same as what we've got at the bottom there. So that's just one way. I've only used 2 of the dies out of that collection, but don't forget you've got that deep edged one as well, which we did on that original cut. If you wanted, I mean, you could have layered all 3 of them up.
True.
Again, so many different ways to use them.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And you heard Jan say earlier on, I know I say it time and time again, 2 things actually. Don't be scared of white space, and don't be scared to use black cardstock. You see how elegant that looks even with the 2 of them. So it's a really, really good thing to be using in conjunction with each other. Let's have a very quick recap when it comes to this full set here. So it's a 6-piece set. However, within each set, you are going to get 3 dies that are going to complement each other. As Jan was saying and showing, you can use them individually if you want. Maybe you just might want to use the small and the large one, or the small and the medium, or medium and large. It's entirely up to yourself, or cross over with some of the other ones. But you've got pretty lace. You've also got elegant opulence. You've then got Edwardian chic. You've also then got flowers and swirls. You've got modern mosaic, and you've also then got sensational scallop. So all 6 of these ones here, saving of 35% on today's price, £55 or $65. If you are platinum, that's going to come all the way down to £44 or $52 for all of those dies. You've seen how elegant, sophisticated, and simple that you can absolutely use these for. Some lovely comments coming through. So I just want to have another look at these ones first, because these have been so busy. We actually featured them, I think it was on one show, just briefly, one day last week, and they were really quite popular, busy. And I think some of you have still got that January organisation in mind, and then you've seen how we've got the Stash and Stack multi-store 3-pack here. It's a star buy. You're getting the 3 of them. You don't get the contents that you can see here. This is just to show you how you can use them, because you don't get the dividers in these. So you may be familiar with the other set that we've done. It's the exact same boxes, just not the dividers. So if you have any spare, then you can use your spare ones in with the actual boxes. So you've got your Stash and Stack, and they're called that because you can stash your products in there and stack them together. You've got your really strong, sturdy, purple lockable handles that you can see here. You've got that thick lip, which makes it even more sturdier on the top, that beveled edge all the way around. You've then got on the base this, it does look like a pretty circular pattern. However, it's there to serve a purpose. It's going to add extra strength and structure to the base of your box. So as you start to put more and more items in there, whereas without that additional support, you may start to see it start to bend or buckle, whereas that's going to keep it completely straight. It does sit in, it doesn't lock into the previous lid, but it does sit and stack nicely. So you've got the 3 of them, $15.98 or $25.98. You've got a saving of over 30%. Basically works out that you're buying 2 and you're getting 1 for free. And the reason as well why it's been so busy, if you're at platinum level, all 3 of these are going to come down to £12.78 or $20.78. We talk about them for our crafty products, of course, but in the kitchen, in the kids' room, in the bathroom, in the she shed or the he shed, in the sewing room, of course. If you like to decorate your cakes, your cake maker, you'll be able to store all your bits and pieces in there as well. If you go fishing, the cables, don't know about you, I'm a gadget freak, so I've got cables all over the place. It's a good way to actually start to divide these in if you've got additional dividers. If not, just wrap them up, store them in there. £15.98 or £25.98 for all three of them. Gives you a saving of over 30%. The other way to think of it is it's basically you're buying two and you're getting one for free. So that is one to definitely consider. If you've not already bought any today, then it's one to consider for this evening. We've got Karen Fisher on Facebook saying, hello, Craig and Jan and everyone. Jan, I loved your earlier shows and you inspired me to play with my alcohol inks. It's great. It's lovely. It is, isn't it?
Don't put yourself under so much pressure. You know, don't think about what the outcome's going to look like. Just have a play with them and see what you get.
Yeah. And what I would say as well, when it comes to inks, if you're the sort of person that loves the exact same result every time, it's probably not for you. Being honest with you. You know,
yeah, for
it's
sort of batch
thing.
making and things like that. If you were going to sort of think about batch making cards, when we did some of those techniques on a small piece of card earlier, I would be making like an A4 sheet and doing the technique so that you could cut it into your smaller pieces. Because like Craig says, it's very, very difficult to replicate something that's abstract. Yeah. It's not a definite sort of design,
exactly,
is it?
Isn't it?
Now, if you're happy with them all looking slightly different, that's fine. But yeah, if you like to recreate the same thing in sort of multiple designs, it's not as easy.
No. And you know, it's part. You know, I'm kind of as well saying that in tongue in cheek, but I know that there's some people when it comes to a background or a card, they love that exact look. You know, it comes to your pattern paper, and you will cut out that same section of multiple paper pads so that you've got that same one. But yeah, it's all about having the fun. That's for sure. Someone I've not spoke to for a wee while. She does some incredible samples for us. Linda Fitzsimmons on Facebook saying, "Hi Jan and Craig. Looking forward to another fabulous show. Jan, you are the mixed media queen."
Oh, thank you. That's a lot.
To see your name pop up.
Coming from our Linda, because she's one of our design team members and she does some fantastic work for us. Yes.
She really does.
Thank you, Linda.
Mum of four boys, or Mom, 4 boys on YouTube is saying, enjoyed the shows today, been watching on delay due to working, but I caught up at lunch and I can't wait to try a lot of the techniques Jan showed us. Thank you. You know, Jan loves hearing that. You're it's a really nice feeling, isn't it?
It is, because that's what we're here for. We're here to sort of inspire you to have a go. And my job is to make it look easy, really, because we don't want to be demonstrating something that looks so technical.
No.
You think, I'm not going to try that in a month of Sundays. I love the fact that some of you are actually thinking about products that you've got now and having a play. And as I say, I always refer to it as having a play, because it is. And it's like, you might actually do something and think, wow, I never imagined I could actually do that. Equally, you might get something, as I say, that you think, well, that looks like a dog's behind, you know. And like I said, it's a piece of cardstock.
It is, yeah.
So some of mine go in the bin. I might have put colours together and think, actually, they don't look very nice. And it goes in the bin. And then equally, you know, it might do what I think, oh my goodness, that looks amazing. You know, can I do it again in a different way? So yeah, just have a play and see what you come up with. And that's the best way of doing it. Don't have any preformed ideas about what you want to create. With mixed media, it's very much a case of what happens with the, you know, the technique that you're doing, and then from there think, right, well, that could be a background, or I could die cut out of it, or I could put it through an embossing folder, and just take it step by step.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The other thing I was just briefly as well, because I know Jan's got so much she wants to show us.
No, that's fine.
And it was an upcoming edition of Crafters Inspiration. I don't know if Jan knows this, but through different editions, there's going to be like Q&As with a lot of us. And I don't think it's going to be the next edition. I think I'm in the next one. And there was a question about where I started, and do I have any photos or old samples that I've done when I started crafting? Now, I don't. All I would say is if you're starting out, and even if it's something you're not happy with, we say it with Academy of Colour, try and keep some of it. Because trust me, when you've been crafting for a couple of years or 5 years or 10 years, you'll wish that you could look back and see how it started Doesn't have to be loads, just a few just to keep, and then you'll just see your progress. I wish I'd kept a few of them. I'll need to check.
Well, I have actually. I have got a lot of stuff that I did previously, you know, when I first started. But I used to have a blog when I first started crafting, and I used to religiously blog with photos of what I've done.
Yeah.
So I've actually got a photographic record. I don't use it sadly anymore because I just don't have time.
No, I'm the same.
I would love to keep it up to date, but I don't have time with it. So yeah, going back to not necessarily where I started, but certainly it's that period when I was blogging, I've got sort of photographic sort of representation of what I did. But I can still remember the very first card I made.
Can you?
I really can, yes, because it was when I first started working in school, and I've told this story previously where someone sent me a handcrafted card from one of my birthdays, and I was like, you've made it. I was just blown away by the fact that this work colleague had actually physically made this card. I'd never come across paper crafting in that case before, never seen it. So of course off I went to the shop, bought a kit and a few stickers and all this, that and the other, and peel-offs back in the day, which I've got tons of. You know, everything had a peel-off on it. And those of you that have been crafting a while will know what I'm talking about. And yeah, I still remember the card that I made for a work colleague at the same school. And it was all purple and it had a little topper, pre-made topper that I put on. And I was so thrilled that I'd actually put this together. And that's where my journey started, going back probably nearly 20 years.
Yeah.
And just from then on, it's been trial and error. I've never gone to any particular classes, maybe the odd one here and there, but it's just been a case of I've seen somebody do something, I've tried it, I've tweaked it, I've done it with try a different dye, try a different colour, try a different embossing folder, and it's just developed from there. Yeah. So, and I still think there's plenty to learn.
Of course there is.
There's always plenty to learn out there. I don't consider myself to be done. I love learning, and I still love playing and finding, you know, new things to do for you guys.
Yep. Well, it's always a learning day, and it is, and that's how, you know, one of the big benefits as well that I get with helping out on this side is I get to be in Jan's company, I get to be in Debbie's and Corin, and I'm on with Michelle next week. I've not been on with Michelle for a wee while, so get to cover the whole team. Anyway, this is what me and Jan do even when we're not live on air, so we need to remember, you want to see some demos and to see the incredible work that Jan does. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a very quick break just for you to check out your baskets, because some of you are still hovering on a few things. We'll come back, and I promise when we come back, I'll recap the first item and we'll go straight to Jan. That's a promise.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
One that was really funny, Ben. You did.
It was better than your I'm a gnome and I live in a caravan.
I'm a gnome and I live in a caravan.
Can we clip that?
We'll do it. Everybody's gone surfing, surfing USA.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us, you give us a community to talk, you know, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV. Create every day.
Who needs New Year's resolutions? Start the year with something you love with New Year, New Craft. Resolutions are easy to keep if it's something you enjoy. And here at Crafters TV, we've got everything you need to kickstart 2023 with a brand new string to your creative bow. Join us for 7 days of inspiration, creativity and new beginnings. Every day from Monday the 9th of January to Sunday the 15th of January will be completely dedicated to a different craft. So, if you've always wanted to refresh your creativity and try your hand at a new technique, this is your moment. We'll be taking a deep dive into die cutting and colouring, making an impression with stamping and mixed media, and exploring the world of sewing and needlecraft. Our expert team is here with everything you need to know to add another crafty string to your creative bow. And with a special show-stopping deal for every technique, you can dive in straight away. It's the perfect time for crafters of all abilities to brush up on new skills. So tune into Crafters TV and head over to the Crafters Companion website for all the details and even more New Year, New Craft inspiration. Make more of 2023 with New Year, New Craft.
My answer here has to be Tracy. I'm going to give a little shout out to our Tracy.
I think if I had to nominate somebody, I'd probably go with Tracy.
Because Tracy keeps me fully supplied with cups of tea whenever I'm working here. She always finds me the things that I've lost, and she's always great to be around.
Sort of get involved with our sample library, which is massive. It's where all the samples are kept, all nice and neatly, all labelled up. And part of their job is to get the necessary samples out for the shows that we do every day, get them all ready and prepared, often display them, tidy them away again, pop them back in the sample library, and that takes an inordinate amount of time.
Because they literally are the cogs that keep us working, and I don't think a lot of people realise just what they do for us in terms of getting everything show ready so that we can come in, get ready and be relaxed to go on air and do those kind of things.
So that is just a small part of what they do, you know, as well as being floor managers during the shows, getting us any products that we need, and most importantly, bringing the coffee.
Everybody on screen knows I make everybody's tea and coffee.
Oh, Evelyn saying, I enjoy listening to you two talking. Always learn something from that. So it's nice. Don't say that because we could literally just stand and chat for a couple of hours. Right, we're going to have a look at the 3D Floral Panel Embossing Folders. £37 or $49. So you're going to get all 9 sets here. Now I have to tell you, 40% of this is gone.
Wow.
If you're just tuning into Beautiful Beginnings, there was a 10-pack this morning. That sold out within about half an hour, if that, of Wake Up Call. So we've managed to get configuration -1. Price is a bit lower, so that's why you've got the 9 of them. Platinum price at £29.60 or $39.20. So what we're going to do, because I've not that long shown that full collection, we'll go straight across to Jan, and then when we come back, if you want to see the folders in more detail, we'll go through the boards of each one, Jan.
That's okay, yeah. We're sort of like rewound back to the beginning now, is it? This is where we should have started. So I've gone for that vintage swirls this time, or swirls, as Craig would say. All right, and we're going to pop both of them through. There are 2 different designs. So like Craig said, even though there are a pack of 9, you're getting 2 in each pack. So you're actually doubling that. And they are 7-inch in height, by 2-inch in width. So these will actually fit through your Gemini Mini if you own the Mini, and any of the machines upwards. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to start, I've got a couple of pieces of multi-purpose card cut to size. Start off with one of them, and I'm going to take one of the folders and we're just going to sort of letterpress this first one. Okay. And what I mean by that is actually popping some ink in the folder. So for this particular technique, this is the raised side, which I would call the base, and your cardstock will go over the top of that because you want that raised side to push up the embossing through your cardstock. So the ink needs to go on the other side, and if you feel it, it feels a lot flatter, and the detail in here is actually recessed because that's going to receive the bit from the other side. So you're actually wanting to put the ink on this side. Now I've gone for some water reactive ink, and it's very pale because I'm actually going to build up the colour with some extra when we take it out. So literally direct to the folder. It doesn't damage the folders in any way because all our inks are water based. It just cleans off either with a wet paper towel, wet wipe, wet cloth, whatever you want to do with it afterwards. So literally just popped it over the flat side of it. Now, if I'm doing a larger folder, I tend to put the ink on with my brayer so that I get a nice flat surface, but these are very thin, so just taking the ink pad to that surface is absolutely fine. And then I put my cardstock in the other side so that I'm away from the ink. I'm just going to take that excess off the edge there and then position that inside, and then close that ink section onto the cardstock. And once you've closed it, try not to move it. And then again, I still have the MIDI out from earlier. As I said, these will fit through your Mini, but just because I'd got this one out from earlier, I'm going to pass it through. So what happens now is not only do we get that lovely embossed technique, it transfers the ink onto our cardstock as well. So it pushes the ink into the background and then raises that white cardstock up through the design. So that's the first one. And as I say, if it is still a little bit inky inside, just a cloth will take all that away so that you're ready for using it next time. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same with the other pattern, but I'm going to keep that one on plain cardstock. So again, check for the raised area, and it's usually the bit that's got the Gemini logo on. So card goes in, and I'm going to pop that one through as well.
See, while you're running that one through, can I actually ask you a question, Jan?
You can.
Now, this may at first sound cheeky, but I'm generally wanting to know, because I want to know, should I do it? See your your cloth that you use. Do you ever wash it?
No.
No?
No.
Because I've got one and I'm like, should I wash it? Shouldn't I?
This one's just about getting ready for changing, I must admit. But I buy these in a pack of 5 from our local pound shop.
Right.
So to me, it's not worth bothering.
Not worth it.
I just throw it and start a new one.
Right, brilliant.
So, you know, you're talking about 20 pence a cloth. It probably costs you more than that to wash it.
True.
So if you've just got the one and you know you want to recycle, then yeah, pop it in the washing machine.
Right, okay.
What's on here is mainly ink, which is all water-based. It will all freshen up. But as I say, because I don't pay a lot for these at all, they're just cheapy ones. And as I say, normally when it's come to its date, I normally just bin it and then take the next one out of the bag.
To be fair, 20p a cloth, considering the cost of what it would be to put on your washing machine and
because
stuff
you wouldn't
like
want to
that,
wash it with your clothes and
no,
things.
No.
So it would probably cost more to wash it than it would to just recycle and sort of start with the next one.
I'm going to do the same.
Now then, that's not, what's happened to that one? That hasn't actually embossed as well as I would like, so I'm going to pass that back through. Okay. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Bring that back. I don't know what happened there, but it's embossed enough that you can actually lock it. This is the recessed side now that I'm working on, and you can actually feel it lock back into place. So I'm going to pop it in there, and I'm just going to pass it through. I don't know what happened there.
Strange one, because the other one worked absolutely fine, didn't it?
Yeah, but that one's got I think it's the way the design is, the embossing in the centre, because we always say with 3D folders there's different layers of embossing, and I can see from looking at the folder actually that the centre part is actually a lot flatter than the sculpted leaves at the top, so it might just be that. Yeah, we'll have a look. So what we're going to do with these now then, let me just move those out of the way. I've got some more inks to play with, so I've actually chosen, the crushed velvet, parakeet and midnight. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the crushed velvet and work on this one first, and I want to add some more colour. So these are our water reactive inks, and you could do the same technique with the opaque inks. So again, I just want to add, I don't want to go over that sort of background area too much, but I want to bring in a bit more colour. So I can still see where it's pressed that ink in originally, because it sort of really presses it in round the edge of the design. But just by adding colour, and I'm going to leave that lighter section in the middle.
So effective.
And then I'm going to start and mix some of the colours. So we're going to take the parakeet, and I'm going to do the same again, but I'm not going to come in as far this time. And those two together make a really nice sort of shade of purple.
They do, don't they?
So don't be afraid again to mix your inks. So I've not come quite as far in with this one as what I did with the purple. So we're sort of creating those layers again. And while I've got that colour out, I'm going to do this one just in the blue. And you'll see how it brings up that embossing when you add the ink to it.
I think
so this one, the whole thing.
Yeah. If you speak to anyone on the team, I think anyone at home as well that loves their water reactive, I think everyone would say parakeet is one of their favourites.
It is a popular colour, isn't it? I must admit, after the pink, the turquoisey colours and the teals are one of my favourites. My bedroom's done with the spot colours, the tealy colour in my room at home. And then last one, I've got the midnight, the dark blue here. So again, little bit of that one, and just on here I'm just going to just touch the edges with this one. I don't want to bring this in very far at all, so we're creating like a dark to light. So you've got that nice light area in the middle spreading out to the darker sections. And then this one, I'm just going to bring my guillotine back in. And as always, you know, we like chopping things up. So this one's going to get cut in half. So it measures 1 7/8. So half of that is going to be a 1/2 inch, no, 1 inch less a little tiny fraction. So yeah, straight down the middle. And I've done that first because I want to bring the blue now round the edges.
Okay.
So if I'd have done the whole thing and cut it in half, it would have missed this central edge. So again, just a little bit, just to take off those edges. And again, it just draws your eye in to that central area. So that's 1/2. And just really light touch on it. And if I'd still got it in one piece, we would have missed this edge. It's actually going to be covered up, so I don't suppose it mattered, but we like to be thorough. And then again, because they're all watercolour, I usually just give it a quick spray, and that's where the cloth comes in, and get it all nice and clean, ready to start the next part. So we're going to go with a skinny card again this time. So I've got some mats and layers at the ready, and I've just made my card blank out of the smooth multi-purpose card. I'm going to go with the black again for a matte layer. So we'll pop that one down first. And then what I'm actually going to do is use the 2 blue pieces to sort of make an outside edge with the central panel in the purpley tones. Cool. So that one's going to go on first. And then what I want to do is use these narrow pieces. So this is just one of the folders that we cut in half. Okay, and I'm going to put one at this side and just leave a really narrow border all the way around. And then I'm going to put the other one. So it's as if we've stretched it now to make a slightly wider card. And then this one's going to go at this side again with that narrow border. And then there is enough space in the middle for us to pop this one over the top. So you can see it stretched that one underneath it. It gives you the illusion that it's a wider piece, even though it still started out at that 2 inches. So again, down the centre, and then we're going to pop that one. I don't think there's a right or wrong way with that particular design. So again, line that one up at the top and bottom there, and I'm just eyeballing that I've got about the same distance at either side, and pop that one down. Giving it a really good press because we're going on to the ink. And then again, I've got a sentiment, just a nice sentiment to go at the bottom here. So again, we'll pop a couple of, I'm into my foam pads tonight. I have a love-hate relationship with foam pads. Some days I think, oh no, I'm not going anywhere near them. And other days I use them on everything. And again, that little tip, if it's going on to ink, I'm just going to add that little insurance with the extra glue on there. Okay, so that one's going to go towards the bottom here. And then I've just got a nice piece of purple ribbon, and we're going to put that up at the top there. Wow. And again, really quite simple, letting those embossing folders do the work, but you can just see there by popping that one underneath that we've cut in half, it's giving you the illusion now that that one's wider than the one on top, and yet they both started out the same size. It's just that trick of the eye, isn't it?
It's incredible. It really, really is. So either these ones, or even doing that with other embossing folders now and extending them, you've now got that idea. Okay, so I can be doing it with my other folders, so I can change the look of that, because I'm already thinking it as well. It's already going around in my head as well. Jill is saying, loving it. Nanny to the girls on YouTube saying, loving this one, Jan. Saving shows for later. I think a lot of you will be doing that. Simply exquisite. So we'll have a little look at these Floral Panel 3D embossing folders. So it's a 9-pack that you've got, but within each pack you've got 2 different folders. They're all 3D, so technically you're going to be getting 18 folders. So let's have a look at the Bloom and Grow. And as I was saying to Jan this morning, all of these are going to work really, really well with your different nature garden collections, your Sara's signature collections, Crafter's Companion. For instance, this one, your sunflower collection.
I was just going to say, you took the words literally out of my mouth. That would be perfect, wouldn't it, with that Nature's Garden collection?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So they're like extensions, aren't they, to things that you already may have, yeah?
They really, really are. You've got your decorative swirls within this one here. You've then also got your textured knits that you've got here. You've also got your woodland splendor. You're also going to get your vintage swirls. You're also going to get your traditional textiles. Also going to get your classic damask. You're then going to be getting your beautiful blooms, and then you're also going to be getting your timeless tiles. So all of them come together, £37 or $49. Platinum price is £29.60 or $39.20. They are available individually. However, as always, the best value is always in that bigger bundle. And believe you me, if you were to then start to tally up the individual, you will see how good that value is. So it's one to just keep in mind. So I believe 45% has gone when it comes to that collection. Right, if you want to get your hands on the water reactive ink colours that Jan was using a moment ago, we've got a lovely little set here where you've got some of those colours that Jan was just using. You will be so happy to know that there is not a fuchsia in this collection, so I can't go back to Charlotte is just saying, thank gosh. Water reactive ink pad, 6-piece collection. You've got your parakeet, you've then got your pale fig, so it's an 8-piece that we've got within these ones here. You've then got your damson wine. We've got cherry, crushed velvet. We've got spa blue. We've got pumice. We've got smoked pearl. And then we've also got seal brown. So you're saving 15% on this lovely little bundle, £40 or $60. If you are platinum, it is going to come down to £32 or $48 for all of you guys stateside. We have got a hero tool. Now within this hero tool, we are looking at our Ultimate Pro. Now our Ultimate Pro is essentially what you're paying for, and then you're going to get all the extras pretty much for free. Ultimate Pro, if you've been a follower of Crafter's Companion for many years, you know, the 17 years or over the last few years, you will know how fab that this Ultimate Pro is. Yes, that kind of the envelope maker is what kind of catapulted Sara, you know, into Crafter's Companion and to where she is now, but I would say as well, it's going to be the Ultimate Pro. The envelope maker was enabled for it to be seen in the craft industry, and then she came along with this, and boy, she went far. Look where she is now. Ultimate Pro. So you've got your Ultimate Pro. I'm not going to go over the full lot in details. You know, you can go on across to our YouTube channel and watch previous shows, but you've got your scoring element, you've got your box maker, you've got your envelope maker, you've got all these embossed details here where you can do your pop-out cards, your K cards, you can do your little bows as well. You've got some pegs to do that. And then on this side here, this is where you've also got your box maker, you've got more shapes that you can then create your K cards, pop-out cards, use them as your mat and layers if you want to. On that side, it enables you to store additional plates or boards that you can see here, sits in there, and then store other things if you want to, chocolate if you want, it's up to you. And then on this side here, you get a little bit of a guide where it comes to the different things you can do, different measurements for envelopes and cards. You've then got a paper trimmer. You've also got your craft knife blade down here. That holds a standard Stanley knife blade that you can get from any DIY store. You're also going to get these 3 pegs to do your ribbon tie-in, and then you've also got, I know there's none here, but you get 2 of your embossing tools as well. The actual paper trimmer slots into the middle down here, and then all your additional boards slot on the top here. And I say that because you are getting essentially for free is your box maker. Now you do get the guide as well to go with it. They are available to print out from our website if you want. You've got inches on one side, centimetres on the opposite side. You can go up to 1/8 of an inch when it comes to the depths of boxes or sizes of boxes that you want to create. Yours won't come with a black line down it. We do that because it's the central part of the actual scoring board, and it's a good visual for you to look at. If you're scoring from point to point, it's a good thing to do. So it doesn't come like that. If you want to do it, then by all means you absolutely can do. So you've got your boxer board. You're also then going to be getting a full 22-metre length tape runner. Now, you know with these ones here, as Leanne would say, it is the properties of wet glue, but in a dry form. So that's a full length. And then Centura Pearl with a hint of silver, you're going to get the A3 in size, the most gorgeous Centura Pearl cardstock that I have ever seen, and I know so many of you feel exactly the same. I believe it's 25 sheets that you've got there, so always handy having it in A3, because of course then you can chop it down to whichever size that you want. So $39.99 or $69.95, but if you are platinum, that's going to come down to $31.99 or $55.96. But maybe you want to stock up on A3 Centura Pearl. Well, got you covered there. You are going to be getting your hint of silver. So 25 sheets, you're going to get that full pad there. You're also then going to be getting the pastel tones. So within these ones here, you are getting a variety of baby pink, baby blue, you've got the mints, you've got the lilacs, and you've also got the baby yellow as well. The most beautiful pastel tones that I use quite a lot when it comes to these ones here. So that's included, also A3 in size. And then you've got Centura Pearl, but this one's got a hint of gold within this one. So you can start to see gold just starting to shimmer through it. It is subtle, but then if I was to put this side by side, you can see slight different tone that you've got within your cardstock. So you've got the 3 bundles there. It does work out, but buying 2 and getting 1 for free, all of that £25.50 or $37.50. If you're platinum, it's going to come down to £20.40 or $30 for you guys stateside, all across on our website, which is crafterscompanion.co.uk.com or .eu. So, excuse me a minute while I just go and get something I forgot. There we go. So, say it with flowers. Right, I'm going to divide this one up because there's kind of like an option where if you just want to go for the papers on their own. So, lovely Jamie in my ear is going to remind me exactly what we've got within this one. So if you've got if you get that, just check, you get the vellum within this one. So, okay. So, it's everything, the main one. So do you know something? I missed that one. I didn't realise we also had the full collection available as well. So
this was the other elements, and we'd separated the card out.
Forgive us.
Yeah.
Because so you're going to see on your screen what you're getting, because what I've got here isn't exactly what you're getting. So you are getting all of that. So you are going to be getting your foam at the bottom there. So you're going to get your foam. You don't get your cardstock within this bundle, but as Jan was saying, there is a cardstock bundle on the website if you choose to just go for that one. You can absolutely do that, no problem whatsoever. So maybe before, maybe when it launched, you maybe just went for the papers because they're absolutely gorgeous. And then maybe now you're thinking, actually, Jan, I've got the papers and now I just want the actual crafty goodness, the dies and that. We've got you covered here because it is beautiful. It is a beautiful collection. This is perfect
for Mother's Day coming
isn't it
up,
just?
Isn't it? For any of you that are making Mother's Day cards.
Really is.
Perfect.
Now, it could take ages to go through. I'm not going to. We'll kind of speed through them in a way. You've got your pearls with some of the gems there, beautiful colours. You've got fabulous friends, so a lovely selection of different sentiments, from happy birthday to thinking of you, true friend, you brighten my day, just a few that you've got within that collection. You've then got, I love this one, this is one of my favourite dies, classic Baroque within this one. So you've got this lovely frame, you've got the corner and the border to extend that if you so wish. You've got charming, another word I can't say, you've got something my mum. You've got charming mums, which would be good for Mother's Day. So that you've got that one there. Perfect, and it is initially designed for your flower forming foam. However, as we say time and time again, these will still cut your cardstock and your papers, no problem whatsoever. We've then got our beautiful organza ribbons here. I mean, look at the colour tones within them. I love these sentiments. Very, very different, really bold, and you've got two dies within these ones. You've got the actual detail die, and then you've got that background die. Dearest friend. Same lines there, you've then got happy birthday.
They'd work well in the foil press.
They do.
Wouldn't they?
Yeah, and that's a good thing. When you've got
Yeah.
something with that background, that matte and Laird die,
outline, yeah.
means then you can cut it out instead of it just being on a rectangle.
Yeah.
So really good. I'm going to say, straight off the top of my head, I'm going to say 6 seconds for the detail onto.
Yeah, it's only the outline, isn't
It's
it?
only
So
the
it wouldn't
outline.
take very long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've not tried it yet, but I'm pretty confident in saying, because it's just the tip of the die that you're using, it doesn't need much, it might even just need 5 seconds, but let's say between 5 and 6 seconds on the foil press, that will look beautiful. Then we've also got our statement floral bouquet. Lovely edgeable card. We've got pretty peonies here. So this is actually 2 dies as well on this one. So you could either cut the whole lot out, but it's that versatile element, Jan, where it could be on the left fold, the right fold, the top fold if you want to.
Yeah.
Nice die stamp set. Then we've also got our intricate arc. We've got another one of these fancy sentiments that says, just for you. Love that curvature when it comes to that sentiment. We've got floral splendor, nice one to do paper piecing in selective parts.
Yeah.
It's a nice one, that one, to do that. You know, because you might think, Craig, I'm not going to paper piece all of that. Yeah, neither would I, and I love paper piecing. But even if you just do selective parts.
Just to pick out those lilies maybe, and the daisy at the top, it would look lovely, wouldn't it?
Would look really, really nice. Delightful rose. So again, another flower forming die, however, card and paper, no problem at all. Beautiful peonies, exactly the same, but you're going to be able to create gorgeous flowers with these. You've then got your timeless elegance. It's an absolutely gorgeous one that you can see within that one there. And then you do also have your flower forming foam. So you've got your 12 sheets there. You do have your 4 colours, so that will be 3 of each gorgeous tones. You can add additional colour to that if you so wish. Add a bit of shading to it, it's up to yourself. All of that £120 or $152. If you are platinum, it is going to come down to £96 or $121.60 for that collection there. It is a jam-packed full collection, but even if I feel as well, Jan, with so many of our paper pads, even if you just went for that and you thought, Craig, I can't quite reach to the paper pads at the moment, you're still going to be able to incorporate them with, you know, something like any of your Sara signatures.
It would work
Nature
with
Garden.
so many of them, wouldn't it?
It would, wouldn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking sort of along the lines of dragonflies.
Yes.
It would look lovely with. It would look nice with the Nature's Garden sunflower collection again. It's all floral themed, isn't it? I'm thinking Country Lane, something like that. It would mix and match beautifully with them, yeah. So I like mixing. I notice you've been doing a bit of that, haven't you? Sort of using current and older things. I like mixing and matching the stuff.
I do as well. It's lovely. You know, it's one of, and just briefly as well, I know sometimes when we do that, and I know if there's new craft, it's like, oh, I really want that. Then on the flip side, we've got so many of you that have spent, you know, your hard-earned money on
it's
older
hard,
collection,
isn't it?
and it's nice. So it's just trying to find that fine line. But even if you don't have the Dyer project, you can replicate what we do, but just use something
Just different
within
die
your
or
own
something
stash.
similar. Yeah, there's always a way around it.
Always a way. Now, what we are going to show you before we jump across to Jan is if you do want the 12 by 12 paper, the 6 by 6 pad, also that 8 by 8 vellum, and your A4 cardstock. I'm going to say it again because I say it every time, the linen cardstock is my favourite cardstock out there. It is your Say It With Flowers paper card and vellum collection, 120 sheets in total. You're going to get 15% saving on that, which is £40 or $55. If you are platinum, it is going to come down to £32 or $44. And equally on the flip side, if you don't have all of the consumable elements that we showed you a moment ago, it's a lovely set just to have within your paper crafting stash. All of these ones being double-sided, of course. So it's nice, beautiful, fresh colours within that one. So I think we're going to have a look at this one, Jan, are we?
We are, yeah. And I thought, sort of seeing as we're sort of going in, hopefully I'm looking towards spring now. Notice that the nights are getting a little bit lighter over here slowly. We sort of gain about an hour each month. Moving forwards into spring. And as I say, a lot of you out there will be maybe thinking about making Mother's Day gifts and things like that. So what I thought we'd do with this one, with it having that lovely floral theme, is we're going to make a gift bag using some of the elements. So I just went through the collection and had a look and pick some of the elements out. So I've got the delightful rose in there, which is one of the floral aspects.
Okay.
And I've got the chrysanthemum. Was it the chrysanthemum? No, it was the peony, sorry. The peony there as well. Okay. And then Jamie's just saying, she can say the word now, showing off, because he couldn't say, what was it, Craig? A chrysanthemum.
A crusty mum. Special mum. Mum. Yeah.
And I've just realised that I'm just going to grab my basket because I've got my frame that I was going to use. I just flicked through them and I've seen it and I think I've left it in there it is. I want the little frame as well. So we've got the classic Baroque frame and then the sentiment. So that's the sections from the stamps and dies. And then I've also taken some of those gorgeous papers and the textured cardstock from the card pad. So if I turn them over, you can see that I've actually been die cutting out of the back of there so that we're not wasting it, and we've taken the centre out of this one. You know, don't waste that cardstock. You can always use these parts, even if it's not big enough for matting and layering. You can die cut sentiments, you can die cut extra pieces out of it. So it does become quite a sort of a common thing when you start doing it. You think, oh yeah, I'll save that bit for another. And that's how you end up with a bag of bits, because you end up with this huge bag of offcuts. Then you've got to remember to go back and use them. So those are going to be the panels for the front and back. So this is where that A3 cardstock comes into its own. So I've taken some of the Centura pearl. You can see that beautiful reflection of the pearl on there. And this measures 14.5 inches across the top, so the long side, and it measures 10 inches down, so it's down the sort of height. And then what I've done is I've scored all the way down at 5 inches, 7 inches, 12 inches and 14 inches. So it's created me a little 1/2 inch tab that it's going to join together to make the rest of the bag. And then I've turned it on its edge and I scored at 2 inches down the length of it, and this is going to be the base element of the bag. So I've done the usual snipping into here where we create the little tabs, and then this is going to be the square parts that overlap to make the base. And then what I've done between those score marks, so where we had the 5 and the 7, I've scored again at 6, but I haven't scored all the way down. I've left it about 1.5 inches from the bottom, and I've done the same in that 13 one. And then just with an ordinary stylus, so this wasn't in the actual scoreboard, it was just with a stylus and a ruler, I've joined up. You can just see the little triangles here at the bottom, and this is what's going to make that sort of gussety part in the side of the bag. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pop the panels on while it's flat, because again I do prefer to sort of decorate while it's flat and it's easier to put together. So again, that tape pen coming in handy. You can see why we get through one of these on a show.
Lots of them, don't we?
It's easy to do, I must admit. So again, I've just made these slightly shorter, and then I've punched holes in the top of here ready to put some ribbon through to make the handles. Okay, so again, I actually like making gift bags. I just think, yeah, you know, you can buy them in shops, but you can personalise them when you're making them.
Well, definitely,
yourself.
yeah.
And they are, once you've done one, they're quite easy to do. It's just a case of working out, you know, the dimensions of how tall you want it, how wide you want it, and what sort of side piece you want in there. So that's going to be the front and the back. Okay, and then I'm going to put tape all the way down that tab that we've created. And I'm going to pop a couple of rows down there. And then if you fold any of those pieces in at the side here and fold it back on itself, this should line up now with the piece that you're folding it onto here. Okay, so I'm just going to give that a really good press to engage that adhesive. And you can see now that we get in the shape of the bag.
So you can't, yeah.
So again, I've created those 2 tabs at the bottom by taking off those little sort of snippets, the little wedges. Now, 2 ways to do this. You can either pop these in and fold your base in, or what I like to do in this case, with it being a gift bag, is fold one of these in first. So decide which is going to be your front. And I normally work with that hinge that we've just put together here so that it's sort of away from you. So this is going to be my front piece. So fold this one in first, then these 2, and then this one, and it traps those tabs, and you've got a nice clean finish inside with no tabs showing. Okay? So again, I'm going to take the tacky glue for this one.
That
because
makes me smile so much.
That makes you smile?
You're the only one that I see do that, apart from myself.
Yeah?
By putting the first fold first, then the 2 tabs,
Yeah.
and it just adds
Just
that
makes it a
extra
bit neater
strength. It
inside, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So again, I'm just going to use my tacky glue because we're working onto that Centura pearl. Do you know, my little pot's been playing up. I think it's got, I gave it a good wash out. I think it's got a bit of a blockage in.
No.
So yeah, I'm just going to smooth that out because I don't want it to sort of squidge out the side there.
Just to say as well, because I kind of shortchanged it all at home with that big collection that I showed you, the 120-piece collection, you do also get the 3D embossing folder with the stencils, and you also get the crepe flower making kit as well. So that comes included with that great big bundle that I showed you beforehand. So just so that you know, that's all included.
So then we're just going to pop it on the back of that last piece and then close that one, and it's all squared up nicely. And then you just need something that's a decent length. So I'm just going to grab my ruler, and then I'd just like to add a little bit of pressure into the base there just to make sure that that glue is all adhered nicely. And then I'm just going to leave that to one side for a second for that glue to set. Okay, so I just pop the lid back on there with the pin so that it doesn't dry out. And then what I've done is I've taken the little Baroque frame here, as you can see this one, and I've cut it a couple of times. You can see where that one came out of the back of the panel where we'd just done it in the orange.
Yes, you can, yeah.
So you can see there. And then I've cut another one out of a piece that was left over from when I've cut the bag piece out of the Centura pearl. That's got that lovely shiny finish on it. And we're just going to offset these slightly to give you that sort of drop shadow on here. So I'm going to swip. That was a cross between swap and flip over to my dotty tape pen. And I'm going to pop the orange one at the back. So I'm going to put the dots on the back of the white one. Just really gentle. I just need a few on there to secure it onto that orange piece to give us that drop shadow. So again, I like to just hover over the top as if you were going to line them up. And then I tend to come down and right. Just a fraction, it doesn't need to be a lot, but it just gives you the illusion that there's a little bit of shadow, and then turn it over and give it a good press down once you're happy with it. So you can just see how you've got that. If I put it against the white, pop it on there, you can just see how you've got that little orange outline. It's just enough to hint that there's a little bit, makes it look more 3D than flat.
Doesn't it? It's such a
So that's going to be part of the detail on the front. And then I have already done the flowers because they do take a little while, and you've seen us making the foam flowers. So using some of the pink out of the kit, and some of that beautiful red. So we've got the rose, and it was the peony that we'd used there, just to make some of the foam flowers. And like Craig said, you know, there's nothing to stop you using those dies with the papers. If you like making paper flowers, you can actually cut it out of some of the scraps of your paper that you've got left over. It's a great way of using scraps up. And then I've just cut a few leaves, just freehand, out of some cardstock there. So there's a couple there from a die, and they're just going to be my decoration. So on the front of the bag, whichever we decided, that was going to be the front there. Okay, we're going to pop the frame on here, and then I'm going to use the flowers to sort of add some detail around that frame. And then I've just taken one of the sentiments from the set here. So very thankful for you. And we're just going to slot that inside like so. So that's what we're aiming for. So I'm just going to pop those together, and I'm going to get a little bit of my 3D glue gel to pop the flowers on, or if you've got a hot glue gun at the ready, you can use the hot glue gun. So on the back of the frame, I'm going to stick with my dots because it's all intricate. I don't want that strut of stringy glue showing through from the double-sided straight tape pen. Yeah. So again, just pop those. And again, you know, you could have done this while it was flat, I must admit. So I'm just going to pop that one, and I'm going to put my hand inside so that we can actually press this one and just centre it. Whoops. Just having a look here and here to give, you know, make it sort of reasonably central. And I've put my hand inside so that I've got something to press down against inside. And then, as I say, I'm just going to use a little bit of the glue gel. So we're going to pop some on the back of that one. We're going to pop some on the back of that one.
What's lovely as well, because I think a lot of people, me included, would sometimes think of orange to be around the autumn time, you know, Halloween time, but it just goes to show how well it's going to work on a gift bag for Mother's Day, or, you know, round about springtime or Easter or any occasion like that.
And then just a top tip if you're using the glue gel, excuse me, the one thing it doesn't like is air. So where I've squeezed it now, I've actually got a gap in the top of my tube. If I put the lid on here now, this will harden in the tube. So you've seen this do this before, where you just squeeze it so that you can just see a little bit of the glue poking out there at the top, and then seal so that the glue is going to make contact with the lid. And that way there's no air in the tube, and it just keep it nice and ready to use next time. So we're literally going to pop the red one in the centre there, and then we're going to have a pink one at each side. And it does take a second, well, I'm saying a second or two, it probably takes about 10 minutes for the glue gel to sort of cure. I would leave it overnight again for it to set fully. And then again, we're going to pop, I think I might pop, I'm with my foam pads again. I'm just going to put one near the end on that one, because I want to tuck the other part under the flowers.
I don't really know what the fuss is about foam pads, to be honest with you.
I know, you make it look easy. I could sometimes do with you at the side of me just to take the foam pads off. He's like,
foam pad picker.
Honestly, I've mentioned it many times. I could do with a Craig to take my foam pads off, yeah? And then, as I say, the leaves, you know, just to slot in. So again, I'm just going to use a little bit of that glue. You can carry on with the glue gel if you wish, but I'm just going to slot these into spaces there. And again, I'm only putting glue on the end of them. I don't need to stick the whole thing down, and just slot them underneath. I'm just going to pop a couple in there.
This is looking stunning.
At the bottom. And then maybe one of the little ones at this end here, so that you've got that like arrangement going on. So I don't need that one. Okay, and then I'll bring in the one that I've finished, because all I've done then is just feed some ribbon through. So I've got one whole piece of ribbon, and I've gone all the way around it. And then where you've got those score lines here, again, once you squeeze it together, you can see how those just give you the shape to actually bring it together and close it then at the top. Okay, So if I bring you the one in that I'd done at home there and just pop that gorgeous pink ribbon through it, you can see there, I've just added a few little gems at the top, threaded the ribbon through and just tied it. You can just see inside where I've actually tied it together there. Make these as long or as short as you wish. And you've got something really sturdy. Because you've got the 2 layers of it on the base, you can actually see that it's quite sturdy to pop a nice little gift in there. So yeah, just an idea for you with that collection. As I say, it could be a birthday gift, it could be an anniversary gift, it doesn't have to be Mother's Day. I know not everybody makes Mother's Day cards, I don't anymore. So yeah, it's, you know, depends where you're at with it.
It looks absolutely gorgeous. And you know what you could do as well, if you wanted to go, not necessarily one step further, but if you didn't want to use your pattern papers, what about some of the techniques that you showed earlier on with your alcohol
yeah, it can
inks or
have those
anything
just
like
the same. Those backgrounds would
Do your
work exactly the same.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be really, really good. Now, I'm not going to go through that full collection once again. If you do want a visual recap, once we come off the show, you can always dot back to the show, but we're about an hour and 15 minutes into the show when I was going over it all. Just to say as well that you do get that crepe flower making kit as well, and you also get your 3D embossing folder with, of course, the stencils. So that was in that bigger collection that we showed before. The details on your screen at the moment is for the card and the paper and the vellum as well. So that was the details for that one there. The details for that full collection is coming up right now. £120 or $152. Platinum price comes down to £96 or $121.60. So that was everything that I showed you, plus the crepe flower making kit and that 3D embossing folder, just not the card and paper and vellum. That's in a separate one. If you want to add it, it's entirely up to yourself. What we are going to do in a moment is we're going to have a wee look at Academy of Colour, but let's just jump across into the comments and see what everyone is saying. It could have been...
I knew it was going to be one of them nights. Oh, dearie me.
Oh, gosh.
We've only got half an hour left.
Well, it could have been a lot worse. Last week I was on with Sara and I actually swore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually swore when I was saying website, but it came through as something else. So, yes.
Oh, dearie me.
Notice how I was trying to just gloss over that. But no, Jamie and Charlotte started laughing. Do you know something? I probably could have carried on, but when I see Jan start laughing, that's when I go. That's when I go. I'm like, nope, busted.
Oh, dear.
Helen Moore on YouTube.
It was like, did he actually say that?
Did he say that? Did he say it? A load of comments coming through. All right, Jamie, all right. Helen Moore on YouTube is saying, I keep meaning to try that technique with embossing folders. Great day for you to now try it after we come off live, of course. Barbara on YouTube is saying, I did my first inking of an embossing folder with the Christmas Advent with Craig. Good idea, that one. But that's turned out absolutely stunning. Jill is saying, I love this. Nanny to the girls is saying, love this one, Jan. It's saving the show. Got Mary Beth Doyle on Facebook saying, thanks for these ideas, Jan. I need some ways for the lace and the panels. So that's actually referring to actually both the first set that Jan was looking at, which comes to the intricate dies as well, the embossing folders. We've got Marion on YouTube saying, hi Jan, I had to be here for you and your mixed media shows. I'm so happy to see you, so pleased that you're over your illness. Which it is, it's always good to see Jan back. Michelle is saying great tips. Michelle Parsons is saying the paper is so pretty.
It is.
Miriam's saying it's a beautiful bag jam with the paper. It really is a gorgeous paper pad, and I know we say it.
And don't be afraid to leave those papers showing. I know I've heard Leanne talk about this. It's like we tend to think as paper as background, but some of them are beautiful enough in their own right to be a focal point. You know, so don't think you've always got to use them as a background and cover them up with something else on top. Let the paper speak for itself. Even fussy cut into paper, you know, if you've got one that's got large flowers on it, and you normally get more than one sheet of a design in a paper pad, you could actually fussy cut it and start 3D and layering it so that that paper actually is or becomes the focal point of your you know, sort of project.
Really, really can do. They are very, very very versatile, that's for sure. Last one for now, it's actually a question. Kat on YouTube is saying, this is regarding the 3D embossing folders. Did I understand, Jan, correctly that generally the side with the the side of the embossing folder without the Gemini logo is embossed, raised up, and the back is debossed and pressed in?
Say that again, read that again for me.
So, did I understand, Jan, correctly that generally the side of the embossing folder with the Gemini logo,
Yeah.
that side is embossed, raised up, once you've ran it through, and the back is debossed, so that's a press in. So the side, so if, well, yeah, so it depends on which way you're facing your card down,
Yeah.
as to whether...
The side with the logo on generally is the raised part of the embossing folder. So that's the bit that comes up underneath your card and pushes that design into your card. And then the top, what I call that the back, because I tend to put that, my card, if you're working with a coloured surface, or like we did a lot of those backgrounds earlier, and you want that colour at the front and the embossing to push up underneath it, you need that raised section as your base, with the coloured piece facing up, and then you close your folder and it's that recessed piece that's much flatter to feel, comes down over the top. That's the way I work with them. Now, if you turn them the other way, obviously you're reversing that procedure.
Definitely.
So some people like the logo at the front. So then that way it's remembering to put your cardstock coloured side down, so that when you press that one with the logo, that's going to press into the card. So deboss and emboss, it depends, like you said, Craig, which way you're looking at it.
Yeah. And do you know what? Even if you emboss the side that you would rather deboss or vice versa, it's going to look beautiful no matter what.
Yeah,
all you know
can
is
use that deboss side as your feature.
you could.
There's no right and wrong again. We always tend to go with the raised embossing, but why not just turn it on its head and use the deboss side? So don't think you've made a mistake if you pop it in the wrong way around. Just be alternative and use the deboss side as the feature.
For sure. So hopefully that that one has helped yourself, Kat. We are going to have a look at Academy of Colour at the moment before we jump back to Jan. This is the cute characters. This launched yesterday. So it launched within Wake Up Call with myself and Debbie. Now, it was shown within Wake Up Call. It was officially launched within the middle show with Leanne and Ben. This is the new chapter of the Academy of Colour, which is all about the cute characters. $33.99 or $44.95. Platinum comes to $27.19 or $35.96. If you're on that educational journey, you know how luxurious the box is. And believe you me, as crafters, that means a lot. We've then got our new QR code. So that has got a QR code on the back of this little label here. So once Leanne has done the class and it's up for everyone to watch, all you do is scan it with your phone, just in your photo, and then it will take you to the video. We'll take you to the past ones as well if you need be. You've then got 6 of your Geotip alcohol pens. Now within these ones here, so these are new colours to Academy of Colour, so they've not been featured within any of the other boxes. However, you may recognise some of the colours to our classics or a tri-blend. So they're not brand new colours, but they're new to the Academy of Colour. You're not going to duplicate from past pens. And then you've also got 3 Geo, which is your aqua base pens. Then you've also got all of your cute character stamps. This is what it's all about. You've then got the pussycat there with the flowers. You've got the mouse as the ballerina, the little fairy, the mouse with the cake, the bunny rabbit's kissing. You've got the cat again with another floral, and the mouse with that umbrella. You've got some sentiments as well. And then, as you know, you also get your new divider. It's got cute characters there. That's then just going to click into your folder divider that you get with that original Academy of Colour. And then you get a top-up of watercolour card and alcohol marker card for you to then do your stamping, do your colouring, and for you to be learning, which is all about when it comes to Academy of Colour with Leanne. It's learning about colouring. Now, if you are a beginner, well, what a way to begin. If you feel as though you're more advanced, you know, you are top quality when it comes to your colouring as a colourist, then trust me, you will still learn hints and tips. You'll learn some new ways as well, some different ways, maybe some things that you've maybe never thought of before, but it's a nice way to start. For me, till Academy of Colour, Jan, I never thought and never realised about how important it can be, depending on what you're doing, the grey undertone.
Yeah.
If you've got one colour, have a grey, and the different depths that you can get from that one pit. If anything, for me, that totally blew my mind. But if you're on that journey with the Academy of Colour, yes, you can do this as a standalone. You know, you absolutely can do. But the purpose of this is that journey. So starting from the beginning where Leanne's taught you about colouring when it comes to, yes, the shading, the direction of the sunlight, how you're going to get that roundness round a cylinder or a ball, or that direction onto basic shapes. Leanne is then, every now and again throughout that journey with each of the box, she'll refer back to them. However, our classes themselves will be directly based on the cute characters. She may add an additional pen or so from the previous collection, but where possible, she'll always use what's inside. So yes, you absolutely can just use it as a standalone box. However, you've said it yourself at home. I've said it for myself from personal experience, but you've said it time and time again, how the actual cost of this is worth that education from Leanne alone, and then your tools as an additional top-up. The videos will always be there, and as Leanne said the last time the last one launched, they will be there forever. They won't be taken down, and they will be for the foreseeable future only for you guys that are in that Academy of Colour journey. So it's worthwhile checking that one out, because you will get the class with this box. It is the new one, cute characters, $33.99 or $44.95. But even though it's brand new, you've still got your Club Inspire, which is $27.19 or $35.96. And then what we're going to have a look at is the delicate lace. So this is what we kicked off the show with, and we're going to have a look at it as well. By the looks of it, so we're going to be ending the show with these ones as well. It's the Delicate Lace Edgeable Collection. I'm not going to spend too much time going through each of them. I'll go through the boards, but I'll not talk too much throughout each of them. You've got your pretty lace. You've also got your elegant opulence. You've got your Edwardian chic. You've also got your flowers and swirls. You've then also got your modern mosaic, and then your sensational scallops. All of those, yes, it says a 6-piece, so it's 6 packs, and you're getting 3 dies within each one. £55 or $65, really good saving $34.94 or $36.70. But of course, your platinum will be less at £44 or $52. So what incredibleness are you going to do within this one, Jan?
Right, we're going to use those sensational scallops, all right, or scallops, depending on how you pronounce it. So again, we've got that set of 3 there. You can see we've got the wider one, the mid one, and then the little skinny one at this side. All right, so they're just over 6 inches, about just under 6¼ inches in length. And then obviously, the widest one is just over 1.5 inches, and then obviously going down to the little narrow ones. Now, I've done a lot of the cutting on this because I can just see the clock ticking away again. So I'm going to show you where I've got to. So I've taken some pearlescent cardstock from one of the previous collections, all right? This is actually from the Vintage Butterfly collection, because I wanted that lovely sort of salmon pink.
Yeah.
And this one measures, let's have a little look, we went for that 6¼ again, all right, by 8¼. And I've scored it at 6¼ to make that square card. And then what we've done is we've popped that largest of the dies on here. And remember I said, if you were watching earlier, it's just got those points at each side. So if I turn it this way, you can see here that we've got a little tiny bit stuck out at this side here, and a little tiny bit stuck out at this side. That's your cutting edge from one side to the other. Anything else in here is going to stay attached to the card. So it's going to cut all that detail into your card, and then that lovely scalloped edge off the bottom. Okay. So I've actually popped that one on, lined it up, popped it through the machine, and we actually got as far as bringing it onto here like so. So if I just put that cardstock, that's acetate, that's not card jam, let's put that behind it. You can see it there. So that lovely scalloped edge. And then using that same die, I've cut a separate piece, standalone piece, out of the pink. So let's move that one out of the way. So this is actually going to be the bottom section of my card. And to join it together, I've got a piece of acetate.
Okay, I see.
The worst thing to see on TV, isn't it? And this is actually going to join the two together. So we're going to bring this one to here so that we've actually got that clear front in the card. Now, before I pop that together, just to enhance it, first of all, we're going to pop our matte layer in the back. And again, I've gone for some of that gorgeous paper, which is double-sided. If you want a plainer side, if you're wanting to stamp on it or anything like that, it's not coated, so you can add your inks and things to it. But again, I want that lovely floral side. And then I've got Centura Pearl from our Precious Metals range. So this is almost like that sort of coppery tone. So let's just pop those together and got those in the back of the card. That's going to be the bit that goes in the back there, and then we'll work on the front section.
That coppery tone, it's a nice alternative if maybe you don't have any satin gold left or any satin card left.
It is, yeah. So again, just cut that with that 1/4 inch border, so we've got an 1/8 inch all the way around there. And then we're going to stick this one into the back here. So that's going to be sort of building up from the back. So again, sticking with that tape pen. That one's going to sit in the back. Okay. So again, we've just got come down in 1/4 inch increments, just so that we've got that little border all the way around there. And that's the base sort of part. Remember I said, you know, whatever you were doing to the front of it, if you add some strength to the back of it, you're going to get a better stand, especially with the acetate in the front of a card. Now, before we actually put the acetate on here, I want to bring in some of that lovely metallic cardstock. So again, I've cut a couple of these same die in that lovely metallic Centura Pearl.
Gorgeous.
So what we're actually going to do is we're going to create that drop shadow again, just slightly on the top one, and then again on the bottom one before we stick them down. So again, swapping tape pens into that dotty tape pen, and I'm going to put my dots just on the back of the one that we cut into the card itself. And then literally, as if I'm going to line it up with this one, this time I'm going to come up and just a touch to reveal that sort of coppery shade. And then I'm just going to trim the little tiny bit that we've gone sideways with out of that edge so that I've still got my nice finish on the card itself. So there's just a smidge come off the edge there. That's how much I've moved it across. It is just a little tiny fly's eyelashes are, like Leanne would call it. And then we're going to do the same with this one at the bottom. So again, on the back of the pink there, we'll just pop nice and light with these so that you don't push them through the gaps. The last thing you want is that glue all over your mat. And then again, I'm going to do the same again. So I'm just going to come slightly down and slightly to the right so that you expose that lovely coppery sort of colour behind it. And again, I'm just going to snip that edge so that it's level.
Isn't it amazing
with the
difference that one little kind of millimetre or so makes?
It does.
To the drop.
It just gives it some dimension. You can just see there on the, on the white background there. You can it's minimal, but it gives the illusion that there's some depth to it rather than it just being flat. It's optional. You don't have to do it. You could just lay that pink layer down if that's where you want to go with it. So it's just giving you ideas. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on with the dots on the back of that one. And then we're going to pop our acetate in the middle. I'm just going to line that up with the edges of the card and stick that one down.
So effective.
And then we're going to do the same with this one at the bottom. So again, those dots on the back there.
Even if you just left that at the side of your card, wouldn't it? The sentiment at the bottom. Beautiful.
So again, I'm going to line that up with the bottom of the card so that it's the same size at the front as it is at the back. And you can see how that's sort of starting to come together there. Okay, so that's our base card done. And then what I've done, I've taken the narrowest one, so we skipped the middle size one in this instance, and I've taken the narrowest one and I've just cut that in that same sort of metallic pearl. So we've got a couple of those, and then I'm just going to pop these just as extra embellishment right across the top and right across the bottom, and you can see how well it all works together. So again, sticking with that dotty tape pen, just nice and gentle on there. So I'm going to put one level with that bottom edge there. Try and keep it as straight as we can there. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same at the top. And then I've sort of combined this with our Say It With Flowers collection, because I've used the paper from that collection. And this is what we were talking about earlier, about mixing and matching. You know, if you've got collections in your stash, don't be afraid to get them out and actually mix and match with the dies. So that lovely die that we had in the Say It With Flowers collection, it cuts a matte layer for the back, and this one's just for you. So you can just leave it as it is. You can see that looks really nice. And then what I've done is I've cut it again in the pink, but just trimmed out the lettering so that we can put the pink in the centre and have that lovely sort of pearlescent in the background. So again, I'm going to pop this together with the tape pen. Let's move it off there. So again, when you've got something that's a bit more delicate, just go in the direction of the die cut. All right, rather than trying to sort of, you don't want to snag it by coming in
definitely not
the other way. And then we're going to use this, I'm going to use my tweezers to get this one in place. And this is going to lie, I'm not going to worry too much about the drop shadow with this one. I'm actually going to put the pink directly over the one that's already underneath. So again, just lining it up, because it's die cut, you can get it straight over the top there. And then again, the dots on the back of here. And then this is going to go, this is just a little scrap of the vellum that we've cut the mat out of. So bringing all those pieces together to work together, and you've just got enough there to have that border around the back. So again, turn it over, give it a good press down, and then we're going to put that one in the centre here. And I've just got a little tiny bit of ribbon just to finish off. All right, so again, if you're not keen on seeing the workings, because what we're going to do with this one, I'm going to go back to my, no, I'm going to stick with the dotty one. All right, just on the back of here, and stick this in the middle. I'm just going to tuck it underneath, so we've got it about centred. Now, if you're not keen on seeing, there's not a lot at the back there, but just cut another one of the matte layers and stick it on the inside to back it, and it covers up any of the glue markings. And then just to finish off, I'm just going to pop that little ribbon on just as decoration there. So you can see, you know, another way of using those dies together, and it'll stand up, even with the acetate in, you can stand up beautifully there.
So strong, but absolutely stunning as well with that colour choices. Literally have just over 5 minutes to go, so we're going to very quickly.
Quick
vote.
Going
to be doing demo of the show, so just while Jan gets our rec cards together, and then we'll jump across to demo of the day. But that is from our lace edgeable collection. But let's have a look as to what Jan's been making throughout Beautiful Beginnings.
So top of the show then, we started with those lace edges and we created the top fold one. All right, using several of the elements from that die in conjunction with the papers from the Say It With Flowers again. So that was number one. Number two, we used those thin embossing folders and made that illusion that we'd stretch the one underneath to make it bigger. That was number two. Number three, we used the Say It With Flowers collection to make the gift bag there. So that was number three. And then number four, back to those, oops. It's better, isn't it? We've gone back to those lace edgeables and just created the one with the acetate front. So that's number four. I did have a fifth one, but again,
No, I
time
know.
just gets away from us, doesn't it?
Isn't it? You literally have a minute or so, and Rachel will tally these
Yep.
ones up for sure. Let's have a little look. As soon as the vote comes in, I'll stop what I'm doing and we can have a look at demo of the day. Now, this is the Delicate Lace Edgeable Die Collection. So it says 6 pieces, 6 little collections. You've got 3 dies within each. Pretty lace, elegant opulence. You've got Edwardian chic. You've also got flowers and swirls. You've also got your modern mosaic and then your sensational scallops that you can see there. So all 6 sets you're going to get £55 or $65. If you are platinum, it is going to come down to £44 or $52 for you guys stateside. Then what we're going to do, and actually this ties nicely with Carol's question, saying, so Dawn's question actually, was the folder collection just showing a new collection? No, it's not. It was launched during birthday event. So yes, it's not a brand new collection. It's been out since October. It's not the full collection. It's got one less when it comes to the actual collection folders. Rightio, demo of the show, straight in there. It went to number 4, Jan.
Oh, so that was the last one with the acetate, wasn't
was.
it? Yes, thank you very much, guys. So,
it really was.
let's move those others out of the way.
So,
Oh, this is
we have got...
going to be an interesting one.
I can't even remember what one it was that you'd done in Wake Up
The
Call.
black one was Wake Up
Wake
Call.
Up Call.
Yeah.
And then that one with
And then that was the shaving foam technique that we did on Mixed Media at 2 o'clock.
Brilliant. So that's
Yeah.
number 1 or number 2, or Jan's got number 3.
With those. So we've got a little bit, we've got some of the folders, we've got some of the dies, and then we've got some of the mixed
do,
media.
don't
So
we?
that's a good representation of the shows, isn't it?
Really nice one. It really,
Yeah.
really is. Lovely selection for sure. So yeah, going back to the folders, 3D embossing folders, floral panels, 55% of this bundle is gone. If you've seen this morning, or even if you didn't see this morning, just to let you know, there was a 10-piece collection. That sold out so quickly. So we managed to bring it back, minus the one of the collections. So you're getting 9-piece. You're getting 2 different folders, 2 complementary folders within each collection. So basically, that's giving you 18 of your duo panel embossing folders that are 3D. £37 or $49. If you are platinum, that's going to come all the way down to £29.60 or $39.20 for you guys stateside. You're going to find all of these on Shop the Day. You can also go across into the new year, new craft section on our website. You'll find the mixed media section has been added as of today, but you're going to find so many items within that category and beyond that are up to 23% off because it's all about the brand new year. Rightio, here we go. Demo of the day. I did think it would be this one. It goes straight into number 1. Number 1.
Fantastic, the gilding wax, you see,
Yeah, it's the
again,
gilding
every
wax.
time, isn't it? It's such a simple technique, but got such a wow factor, hasn't it, on the black card?
It had.
Thank you very much, guys.
I have to say, out of all of them, Jan, I have loved them all. This one for me, there's just something about, I think it's that background, it's that
The marbling,
classiness.
yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love that one. Love them all. Not surprised that one won. It could have been any, it really, really could have been any of them. Right, I'll give you a little recap as to tomorrow in a moment, but when are we going to see you back?
I think I'm back on the 20th, so I think that's a week on Friday. I'm not quite sure what I've got yet because I've not planned that far ahead because obviously this has been my first sort of week back after being poorly. But yeah, I'm here Friday the 20th.
You are indeed.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Jamie's just saying colour me happy, I like that.
Guess who you've got on this side?
How have I got on that side? Are you back again?
It's me.
Fantastic. We're getting a bit of a double act, aren't we?
Aren't we?
Yeah.
Couldn't have it any other way.
Good team.
For me, it's been a lovely day as always.
I
but
thoroughly
the
enjoyed it,
comments,
Craig. Yeah. And I think, as I say, we make a good team.
We do. We really, really do. So that's going to be next Friday. You're going to see Jan, and it'll be Jan and myself. But tomorrow we've got Ben and Leanne. They're going to be here tomorrow. So it's still following on from the new year, new craft. They're going to be focusing on, of course, card making. So that's going to be tomorrow. It's also Thursday, so that means you've got a cartload say it every time, as soon as our website gets updated. It's usually round about 8 a.m. here in the UK. Have a look on there, shop ahead when it comes to Cartload. Phenomenal deals. They'll give you a little recap, preview when it comes to Wake Up Call, but it is, of course, all about card making when it comes to the new year, new craft. You'll find everything that Jan and myself have been showing and talking about today on our website. You can always go back, which I know so many are doing. You're either going to go back afterwards, or of course you're going to save these shows to your playlist so you can watch back and follow along with what Jan has been doing today. I have loved it just as much as you have as well. Thank you, of course, to Rachel, Jake, and then Charlotte and Jamie. Big help today all round. Have a lovely rest of the evening. Have a lovely rest of the day, depending on where you are stateside. Ben and Leanne will see you tomorrow. I've got a few days off. I'll see you for one show on Sunday, right in the middle of the day. I am on this side again, and you're going to have Lily across on the other side. So have a lovely few days, and I'll see you on Sunday. See you later. Bye.